What's going on, folks? Welcome to season 5 of the Running On podcast. We're back. Finally. Um, I had to take a little break there for a minute, get things back in order, get everything straight and stuff, grad school business and board exam business and stuff. But overall, this is going to be a fun show for this evening. And there's the man of the hour as well. There is Ace. So what's going on, Ace? If he can hear me, he had it and he lost it. So
What's up with this Wi-Fi? It's like it's barely picking up a signal. We got better Wi-Fi, and now it's not even picking up anything.
wait, so you can hear me?
Now I can. It literally dropped the Wi-Fi like 2 seconds ago.
Oh, all right, awesome. Well, you can hear me, but yeah, I was just telling him, grad school life happens, so had to step away for a little bit and focus on hopefully passing a board exam. So we'll find out here in about a few weeks and see. But as always, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel and stuff. We have a fun, jam-packed episode for you this evening. As Ace knows, we're going to uncover a lot of stuff. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff. What's been going on 15 minutes from where I live at right now.
In Daytona?
Yes. And then
What's going on in Daytona? We got to do the wind horse meme. What's going on in Daytona right now?
A lot's going on here, man. A lot's going on here. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe as well. We're going to talk about a couple other things too. Conference championships this weekend. The shocker in the NBA and the shocker in college basketball right now too, because of who's number 2 in college basketball and the surprise team that's turning heads in the NBA. Also, too, 2 aging quarterbacks that may be on the move. So we're going to talk about all of it this evening.
That was a different era.
You got anything before we get it rolling?
Good to be back, I guess. I don't know what's up with my Wi-Fi. Hopefully I don't drop. But let's hit this intro and get going before it drops again.
Let's do it. Hey, what's going on, guys? This is JP.
This is the Bug.
This is JC.
This is Flash.
This is Jimi Hendrix.
And you are listening to
And you're listening to
And you're listening to the Run and Gun Podcast.
How am I coming through right now?
Coming through good in my end.
All right, let's go there.
Well, because plus StreamYard has the thing now where it's like, even though it may be bad on your end, I guess it's like dressed up and stuff really well. So I don't really know what to make of it, but who knows?
The wall got some additions. I moved the magic up there, and Flash gave me that for Christmas. So we rearranged the wall.
Oh, wow, your brother got you something for Christmas?
Yeah, he still owes me a birthday gift.
That is so sweet. Oh my goodness. That's sweet.
Haha. By the way, let's
But-
get the show on the road. What do you want to do? Start with Daytona's nonsense?
Oh, of course, we have to. So I think we all know about what's happened over here in the past month, or not even month, like the past 2 weeks. So
Yeah.
Reed gets hired. About a
I
little
had
bit
a
of
perfect intro to that segment. I said the era of Ed Reed has come and gone before you could say boo.
yeah, no, really, it really had.
Before even Ed Reed could boo the team, the era came and went.
Facts. Straight facts.
Oh my god,
So
this Wi-Fi is so bad.
I'm actually gonna try to run through the timeline here of when he was hired. So he was actually hired New Year's Eve of 2022, around that time, like New Year's Eve ish. He was named the 16th head coach at Bethune-Cookman. He didn't put pen to paper or anything yet. He wasn't under contract. He went viral on social media and said what he had to say and everything like that. And then come to find out last week, during a recruiting weekend, he had to inform the guys he was recruiting. He had 30 players there, 26 rumored to be set to commit right there on the spot. One of them was his nephew, who was in the back of the room, who transferred from Southern. And all of a sudden, he's like, they told him he wouldn't be the coach. Pretty insane. Pretty insane. And now more has been uncovered because now you've had players come to the forefront, which I'm very happy to see, where they've stated, there's mold, there's mildew in these dorms. Students have come forward, others sports have come forward and said, the conditions are inadequate. It's actually pretty sad that a stadium owned by this city, is not compliant enough with the locker room, because you had players on interviews saying, we have to put our bags in certain places so that way it doesn't get mold or mildew build up. And then the equipment that we use is just stowed away in a shed like a high school or some little league team, and then not brought back out. Sometimes you have to Lysol your own stuff, which is pitiful as well in that facet, because
not even sanitary.
It's not, and that's the thing. Thank you.
Borderline inhumane, but we won't get into that part because we run our whole channel off HBCU, so we can't bash HBCU into the ground.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to say anything bad like someone's a piece of crap or something, but
they got some corruption going on in that school though, but we won't get into that.
They do. And look, all I can say, if I went there, I'd be staying in an apartment like I do now. I would not be staying in a dorm. Ain't no way in hell. I wouldn't put my child through it either if they decided to go there. Or just because that's pitiful. Mildew on the pillows and on like the back of like portraits and stuff. Like, that's disgusting. The players have to share helmets, which some people don't want to believe, but I'm gonna tell you the honest truth. It's pretty sad. Believe it. It's likely happening. It's very likely it's happening. He dropped out. But as I was saying, that is how MRSA happens. That's what happens when you get MRSA outbreaks. And you don't want MRSA outbreaks, because then that halts everything. That's disgusting and it's pitiful. And I don't care about the whole, you got stuff, hoarding stuff in buildings and whatnot because, you got to store stuff. I don't care about that. I care about the safety of the players. And while we're on the players, I think that's the opinion that matters the most here. I know everybody's got an opinion like, this is what needs to happen. This is what needs to happen. I get it. This is America. We're all entitled to what we want to say. But at the end of the day, on a topic like this, the opinion of the player matters more than the opinion of some chick from Mississippi or some old head in Texas. I'm just saying. I'm sorry. But, on Ed Reed's side of the story is, he's got his take where, he said he prime called him as far as being the coach of Jackson State, and Grambling gave him an opportunity or wanted to give him an opportunity and stuff. Look, I don't know how true that is.
I
think
it's a StreamYard issue. I don't think it's my Wi-Fi.
Oh, well, I don't know because I'm still here.
It dropped you out.
Oh, I'm still here.
I'm pretty sure it knocked you out as well.
Oh, yeah, no, I've been here, dude. We're still rolling.
Oh, so then it is my Wi-Fi acting up then. I don't know.
Yeah. But, back to Ed Reed, though. I mean, I get it. People aren't happy, and I know Reggie Theus isn't happy about what he said and stuff. But at the same time, too, it's like...
I'm going to leave and restart the router. Give me a second.
All right, go ahead. But, yeah, no, I understand Ed Reed's upset and everything, but I understand where he went wrong. You can't bash somebody like that, man. You just can't. I'm sorry. And, Reggie Theus did what he had to do. Because I know for a fact someone that wants to eventually be a business owner, if you're talking shit about me, I'm going to give you your walking papers within 24 hours. Really on the spot, actually. Because I want nothing to do with you at that point. So I understand why he was fired. But the other thing, too, is y'all got to realize this is who Ed Reed is. He's a very passionate person. We've known this for a long time because it goes back to the clip of 2001 when they were playing Florida State where he's talking about he's hurt. Fast forwarded to his time with the Ravens. He's an emotional leader. It's not CTE like most people want to be funny and try to say. It's just that's the way he is. I respect it. I do. Call me crazy. I respect it. I like his passion. It won him a Super Bowl. It won him a national title. There's an expectation that comes with that read. I just think that you know he may have been just too emotional for Bethune, and I think that's not what Bethune needed right now. I don't think that's what any HBCU needs. And speaking of the topic of HBCUs as well, while we're on this segment, Shannon Sharp was wrong for what he said. To shame Prairie View and to say what he said about Alcorn, I think, dude, Prairie View's got some of the nicest facilities in the SWAC, probably the best, because of just the money in Texas and stuff, which means Prairie View could have more, way more. But yeah, Shannon Sharp, you're wrong for that, dude. You're absolutely wrong. You don't know. You have no idea. I encourage you to take visits to these schools and stuff and see it for yourself. But overall, I hate it for Ed Reed and I hate it for Bethune-Cookman, but ultimately I hate it for the players because they're the ones that suffer the most. They do. So now the question posed is, and those of you that are watching, chime in on YouTube to leave a comment. Who do you hire if you're Bethune? Because right now we're what? Today's the 26th. Signing day is February 1st. Who are you going to go get? So I'm guessing mainstream media should stay out of it unless the facts. Honestly, yes, because you should collect everything that you know first before you just go about saying what you got to say. And honestly, talk to the players. The main people that should be getting the interviews right now are the parents of these players, the players, Ed Reed and Reggie Theus. They have. Yeah, no, that's good. They should. But yeah, they should. Yeah, those four elements right there are the people that you should talk to the most. Now, back to this. Who do you hire if you're Ed Reed? Oh wait, Ace is back. There we go. Yeah, now who do you hire if you're Bethune-Cookman? I'm telling you now, I don't expect a Sam Washington to come up because for one, you're this close to signing day, and Sam Washington's 62 years old. Do you really want to lead a massive rebuild like what this is? If you're a 62-year-old coach that's already tasted success, and you look like you're probably enjoying retirement at this point. Do you really? Some other people speculated before Edwards was hired, Kevin Sumlin, because of his connections to Daytona. I'm telling you now, the USFL is paying him double, triple what Bethune-Cookman could probably ever offer him. I'm sorry. That's just not happening. David Shaw wants NFL money. That's why he's eyeing the NFL for his next move. Larry Little's too old to come out of retirement and be an interim type guy, like a stand-in temporarily. Maybe you can call Alvin Wyatt, or maybe you go find someone for scraps. I don't know. But you put yourself now in a really tough point. At this point, you should just give it to one of the coordinators. They fired the coordinators. When they got rid of Terry Sims, they got rid of the coordinators. Everyone lost their
house.
Yeah, they cleaned house. So who do you now? You're definitely in a bind. Unless
I'm giving it one more shot with this computer. If it drops again, we're going to the laptop.
All good, man. Do what you got to do. But yeah, it's like, who do you call? Because you're literally in between a rock and a hard place. Reggie Theus may have to work triple duty. He may have to be the football coach, the basketball coach, and the AD. He may have to wear 3 hats. Who knows? It's literally a rock and a hard place. And I don't see how.
It's a legit dumpster fire right now.
It is. And they've set them, like I said, they've set themselves back 5 to 10 years. They really have. I was looking forward to this. Yeah, it is. It really is. I was looking forward to the whole, Florida Classic and everything and stuff, and how Bethune was going to eventually adapt to the SWAC and the style of play in it. But now it's like, it may be a
So
while.
let me ask you this: What do you think Ed Reed's gonna do this year?
What do I think Ed Reed does this year? Honestly, I don't see, I don't see him coaching this year because we're too close to signing day, and I think a lot of teams are just they've settled in. Everyone's settled in. Kids know where they kind of have an idea generally where they're going to go now. But but then again, honestly, hell, we don't even know because everyone and their mom transfers if they even get looked at wrong or if they get skipped in the lunch line because everybody's so damn sensitive now. But honestly, I don't see him coaching in 2024, but I mean 2023, but 2024, he's gonna get some calls. I think he's gonna get some calls from. It may not be an HBCU. It doesn't have to be an HBCU. It could be a group of five job calling. Who knows? Maybe in a few years, if Alex Golish and USF don't work out, maybe USF calls Ed Reed. Somebody's gonna call Ed Reed. His team is supportive of him. Who wouldn't want to have a Pro Football Hall of Famer in their corner coaching? So, like I said, someone's gonna give him a shot. Now, for the other thing too that happened, Quinn Gray and his squad, because he's the newly hired coach at Albany State. I'm sure you heard about the kid that basically he dropped the N word in the song and stuff, white kid, and Florida backed out on their offer for him, and he's basically
that quarterback.
Yeah, and now Quinn Gray comes in and offers him a scholarship. Look, dude, I'm gonna be real. A lot of people frown upon this. I don't see nothing wrong with it because there's an element there that we don't know about. Because we can go ahead and look at it and shake our heads as much as we want. And I know a lot of people are like, "Oh my gosh, why did you do this?" But in the grand scheme of things, the only people that know is Quinn Gray, that kid, and that kid's family. It's the truth. It's something there's something that's been talked about behind closed doors. Quinn Gray wants to give this kid a chance, and honestly, who knows? If this kid comes in and lights it up at Albany State, it's a damn brilliant move. It really
He's
is.
probably on a one-shot thing, one script you're done anyway.
Wait, say that again?
I said he's probably on a one screw up kind of thing anyway. Like if he messes up one time, he's done.
Oh yeah, of course. By the way, how have you guys been? Nice. Yeah, no, yeah, it's been good.
I've been waiting for this one over here to get himself finished with all his stuff.
Yeah, honestly, I had to focus on a board exam and stuff, man. Honestly, if this one's passed, we got 2 more to go. So yeah, just been.
We don't even know when the next podcast will be back working on change.
Yeah, we're working on changing the name of the Last Skip podcast. So we're going through a remarketing phase right now, or rebranding phase for that show right now. So in due time, that
make it a little more original.
Thank God.
You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to do my We Live tweet. I'm out of shape, bro.
Shoot. I know we're trying to get back in the swing of things. But yeah, honestly, my expectation.
First show the whole year.
What? But yeah, my expectations for Quinn Gray this year, keep the train rolling at Albany State. They were a good team before him, and I expect him to be more of an offensive power with him there now. So those are my expectations there. One other thing before we do move on for the NFL portion of the show. What can we expect from FAMU when the 2023 schedule drops? Rumor has it Prairie View is the homecoming opponent this year. So it means basically Grambling won't be on the schedule, of course, and also Arkansas Pop-Up won't be on the schedule. But as far as we know so far, they actually had it saved away here. We do know, except Labor Day weekend, they play Jackson State again down in Miami. I know some people are like, why are we doing this again? But That's the best opponent you can find. September 9th, the week before USF plays Alabama, FAMU travels to Tampa to play USF. October 7th, at home against South Carolina
Watch
State.
Alex Golesh lose that game.
Look, it wouldn't even surprise me. The thing,
Hey, he did some decent recruiting, I think, in state. I don't know. I could give him a shot.
I think this year is going to be a struggle, of course, because they lost some key players. USF did.
A lot of them transferred out. Yeah.
Yeah, one of them transferred to UCF. So
Well, who? It wasn't Horn, was it?
I think it was Horn. Yeah, but
No, I thought Horn transferred to A&M.
I think it was one of those. Wait, University
Let me
of
look it up.
School. It's supposed to be on the schedule. So honestly, that may be the stand-in school that's gonna like be the school that like sits in for say like where Fort
Antonio Greer.
Bentley State usually are. That's gonna probably be the school. So that could
Antonio
be
Greer, the guy.
that could be the fourth non-conference opponent because as far as non-conference opponents goes, or my bad, third non-conference opponent. Because as far as non-conference opponents goes this year, you got USF, South Carolina State, and then if it is UWF, it could be UWF. But yeah, homecoming against Prairie View, and then as you know, November 18th, Florida Classic weekend against Bethune, or what's left of Bethune, no pun intended. And then December 2nd is the SWAC championship. Well, SWAC's going to look a little different this year, even though Jackson State's got TC Taylor, and he's doing still a great job. But I expect the game in Miami to be more of a dog.
Done a show since Dion left to Colorado?
Say again?
Did we do a show since Dion went to Colorado? I think we did, right?
We did. Okay, we did not. Oh my gosh, because our last episode was after the Classic. It was before.
No, when didn't we have the Christmas special in the Dairies?
We did. I thought Kofi said South Carolina State wasn't on the schedule. Well, double check with him because according to most of these websites, it's got South Carolina State on the schedule. It's got them listed for October 7th.
South Carolina State's a funny situation. They lose a couple games in the regular season and somehow just dump on.
Oh, okay. No, it did
SWAC.
change. It changed. It did change. So September 3rd is Jackson State. September 9th is at USF. September 16th is West Florida. So it did change. It did, in fact, change. Okay. So it's a little different now, which makes sense because, yeah, it makes sense. So the home opener is technically University of West Florida. The two teams, they do have a history together because they did scrimmage each other or go against each other, whatever you want to call it, whatever the hell the NCAA wants to call it and stuff. They went against each other in the spring and stuff, like when they were looking for opponents to scrimmage and whatnot because of COVID. So, yeah, worked out. Makes sense.
We're gonna see Isaiah land in the Senior Bowl, and Combine, which means what time it is. NFL draft, can probably get drafted.
Mm-hmm. I have an expectation. I don't think he's a day one guy.
I think he goes probably in between rounds 3 and 6.
I would agree. I think, and honestly, a lot of people are not going to like that probably, but it's like, most of the dogs and the longevity players come from rounds, 3 through 6.
Mm-hmm. And also you also gotta think too, he's probably gonna end up on a team that uses 3-4 because he's more of a linebacker pass rusher than a hand in the ground kind of one. So you might see like a team like Baltimore go after him.
Yes, because honestly, I would be looking for JPP's replacement right now. You could also see because of money in cap situations, you might see Buffalo go after him.
Buffalo need to fix that offense. Buffalo, as one of the points that they do, they need to deal with offense first before they deal with the defense.
Very true. Very true. I think that can transition us into the NFL. But I agree. Another one is, ooh, hmm, Miami. Miami needs a pass rusher.
I gotta wait till those coaches come out. I mean, we've only gotten one so far, Frank Wright being hired,
Mhm.
and just see what happens. Like let's say Denver got Sean, right? I'd see them. They lost Bradley Chubb. I'd see them probably going after a pass rusher because
Yeah,
that he would fit their scheme better. Like a Bradley Chubb, you got to replace Chubb. He was more of a linebacker pass rusher, just like Vaughn and Land. Stick him in right there. I can see that happening. So like the
is
dominoes got to fall before we can predict where he ends up.
and the thing about it is too is like Isaiah Land's still growing. Like he's still growing physically, and I guess you could say in the maturation phase as a player, where get a couple of good meals on him and stuff and whatnot. Let him start making money. Let him start taking care of his body more and stuff. Give him more resources, which the NFL will do over really hell any college. And I think he'll mature. He'll be all right. So I think Denver would be nice. Plus, it's a good organization for him, John Elway and company. And he dropped again. But with that being said, I guess we could just go ahead and slide on over to the NFL fully. So conference championship this weekend. So we have Philly and San Francisco, and then we've got the Chiefs and the Bengals. Joe Burrow's looking to make it four straight inside Arrowhead, or as they call it in Cincinnati, Burrowhead Stadium. I'll say it like this: honestly, don't. If Kansas City gets the lead, their defense better be ready to play. Their defense better be ready to play for an entire game because Joe Burrow, in the snap of a finger, he can come back just like that. That's how good he is. Hold on, guys. I gotta send this to Ace. Here we go. All right. But yeah, don't count him out, even if they get behind. Because okay, wait, we got a comment here. Okay, yeah, I already sent that to him. But yeah, so and then the fact too that Patrick Mahomes is playing on one leg essentially, it doesn't do any favors as far as that, as far as the Chiefs offense goes. So at some point, you may have to go away from Patrick Mahomes. We don't even know if Patrick Mahomes is going to really be able to do much on his leg for this game. Okay, and here we go. Ace is back. All right, Ace. So yeah, talking about Joe Burrow, basically Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes this weekend, AFC Championship, the firepower that's on the field and stuff. Joe Burrow's won four straight inside Arrowhead.
You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. I switched it over to the laptop. I am fed up with that.
Oh, you're good. You're good. You're good. Yeah. Yeah. Slide me some knowledge and stuff as far as, AFC Championship this weekend.
Give me micro.
Okay, he dropped out again. But yeah. So overall, in my opinion, I do see this at the moment favoring the Bengals because of the fact that you have Patrick Mahomes who's playing on one leg essentially. You have a Bengals offense that's just rolling right now based on the way that they went into Buffalo and just took that away from Buffalo in Buffalo's element. And then based on the fact too that Ace is back again. Let's see if he actually stays.
Now I can't hear you. What the hell? This is annoying.
Oh dear. All right. Well, I'm just gonna keep on going. So yes, essentially. That's my take for that. Now for the NFC Championship, San Francisco, who's won 12 straight, travels to Philadelphia this weekend. Honestly, I'm just going to come straight out with it. I feel Oh yeah, I know. I don't know what's going on with him. I think we're all just working out some bugs and stuff because of this little layoff we've had. Hopefully he's here to stay now. Are we here to stay? We good? We good? Can you hear me? All right, I'll give him 1 second. Um, golly, where was I? Okay, yeah, San Francisco, they won 12 straight. And so with that, they're gonna come in with a lot of momentum and everything like that. Nick Bosa and company in that defense, Jimmy Ward and everybody. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna present some challenges for the Eagles, but when I look at Philadelphia and how they're structured and stuff on offense and on defense, I get the feel of a 2017 type vibe, like I did with them original.
I am back.
Okay, he's back.
I am back with no issues. I am on the laptop, set up onto the monitor with the headphones and the microphone. Redid
Okay, good.
everything on the whole
Awesome.
live. Redid the entire setup. I'm fed up with that.
Perfect.
Now I gotta pull back up the script. Good grief.
So yeah, basically, I was just saying, I'm feeling the 2017 vibe from the Eagles. I don't know about you, but that's what I'm feeling.
That was 2017 when they won. Yeah, the amount of Jalen slander and underrated, like he's becoming really underrated. Like the minute you saw Purdy getting ranked over him, I'm like, yeah, this is one of those things where you're like, I need Jalen to shut him up.
Yes,
and I could really see it happening. I can see him coming in Sunday afternoon, the AFC's night game. Yeah, Sunday afternoon, he gonna light it up.
I'm hoping
And
so.
part of me wants Mahomes to win the MVP because the MVP never wins Super Bowl. And I would not be upset if 3 of the 4 teams won the Super Bowl. I just can't take one team to win that Super Bowl. I cannot take Purdy winning the Super Bowl.
Honestly, the recent luck of the 49ers, like after those first 5 that they won, they're 0-2 in their last 2 attempts. Kaepernick couldn't get it done. Jimmy G couldn't get it done. And now we're going to see if Brock Purdy can even get them to the show to get it done. But honestly, but if you look at it too, these 2 teams since 2002 have been in the NFC Championship the most. The Eagles, I think, went to 4 straight NFC Championships and got to the Super Bowl in two of the 4 attempts. Or no, one of the four attempts. Because they went in 05 and played the Patriots. And then they lost to the Bucks and they went in 04 because they lost to the Bucks in 02. They lost to the Panthers in 03, and then I forget who they beat in 04, but they got there in 04. And then 05, they lost again to the Seahawks, I believe, I think. Because the Seahawks went and played the Steelers.
The 49ers or the Eagles?
The Eagles.
Yeah, the Eagles have lost in 05, I think. That was McNabb.
Yeah, but right? they won in 04, but I can't remember who they beat in 04. It might have been Green Bay. Who knows?
I'll look it up.
But
while you deal with that.
But yeah, honestly, I think that's what I'm feeling though. I'm feeling like it's 2017 all over again with the creativity that I see, and plus, it just
okay. They lost to Carolina in 04, lost to Tampa in 03, lost to Atlanta in 05. Oh, they beat Atlanta in 05, but they lost the Super Bowl. And they lost to Arizona in 09 when Arizona went to the Super Bowl and lost to Pittsburgh.
Okay, so that 09 one was the Michael Vick year.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that makes sense.
No. Was it Vic was in 09? I thought Vic was 012. No, Nick Foles was 2012. Vic was 09, 10, and 11.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, that's about right, because he got suspended for what? 7? No, he was in jail for 7 and 8, and he came back in 09.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I meant to ask.
Easy work. We just figured that all out.
I meant to ask you for the AFC side, though. Mahomes,
I honestly
Burrow.
that game is gonna be one that we probably won't forget. I feel like.
I give the slight advantage to Cincinnati though because Mahomes is coming in on one leg.
But I said this on Twitter the other day. I said a one-legged Mahomes is better than 80% of the quarterbacks in the league. That's so only seven quarterbacks
That's
who
true.
are better. Seven quarterbacks who are better than Mahomes when he has one leg. Albeit Joe Burrow's one of the seven.
That's true.
But Mahomes with one leg can still throw the ball. Oh, we probably won't have the drive, but we still got Kelsey. All I need in this game is for Kadarius Toney to punk what's his name? Eli Apple. That would be the ultimate Hall of Memes matchup
He's
right
been
there.
talking his noise honestly recently. He's been
It's
talking.
not gonna end well. I want the Bengals to win, but I don't want to see that guy.
And quite honestly, to be real with you, I feel like this is the year if the Bengals get back, they're going to finish the job. I think.
Oh yeah, I think if the Bengals get there and it's against San Francisco, all they gotta do is hold Nick Bosa out of the backfield for about 3 seconds, and Burrow should be able to win that game. Because Jamar Chase versus Travarius Ward the last time they played, we all know what happened.
Exactly.
All you gotta do is hold. The offensive line just gotta hold out long enough for Burrow to get the ball to Chase and Higgins.
Bingo.
And I wouldn't surprise me if it was Bengals 49ers. It's two tight end set, and you have Higgins, Chase, let them beat their coverages. Because if you watch that game against Dallas, CeeDee Lamb cooked them all day.
Oh yeah,
That is the reason why Dallas lost.
The writing's on the wall there with them. It's more.
I think if it's not Burrow and Higgins or not Burrow and Higgins, Chase and Higgins who cook 49ers, AJ Brown and Devontae. Devontae is gonna get at least 75. Whatever Devontae's overs, I'd hit it. Devontae gonna feast.
I can get with it. I can get with it. It makes a whole lot of sense. I think honestly too, it's just a lot of people. Some people are comparing him to Tom Brady and stuff. Like he's like a young Tom Brady, but it's like, he's one of those quarterbacks that came up in a very good offensive system. All you have to do is really just manage the game and don't lose it. Brock Purdy's he's to the point where he's able to do like more than enough. And the thing Kyle Shanahan does is Kyle Shanahan knows how to, reward certain players for doing dirty work.
There's a lot of people saying how Shanahan trusts Purdy more than he trusted Lance or Garoppolo when he opening up the offense. But the two games I've seen Purdy play, well, three really, but the one against Tampa is regular season. I'm talking about the two playoff games I've seen. He's made some highly questionable throws that should have been picked, but Debo, Ayuk, Kittle bailed him out every time. And majority of his touchdowns are going to CMC. CMC is carrying it right now.
Of course.
And
dude.
CMC, we all know, when he's healthy, he's a top 3 back in the league.
It's kind of.
But the question is, Elijah Mitchell's bailing him out right now, so he doesn't have to deal with getting hurt because he's getting half of backfield right now.
It's interesting to me.
I think Fletcher Cox wants to go out on top with the Eagles because this is his last year. I don't think he's back next year.
Really,
Fletcher Cox, he's on a 1-year deal. Remember, he got released and then they brought him back 1-year deal on a renegotiated contract.
You know what?
That's why they drafted Jordan Davis.
That would make sense then. That makes a world of sense.
Remember, Brandon Graham's also over 30. He's coming off a torn Achilles. He probably wants to win one more.
Yeah.
Got Jason Kelsey, who was contemplating retirement this year. He came back for another run. You got some guys who hungry. San Francisco's still young. They don't got much old guys on there. Philly, I feel like they got the old guys. You're we don't have much run for ourselves, but we need to pull it in and just go all in, put whatever we got left out there.
The thing that you fear with a young team that still has a very wide window, like San Francisco, is getting there so many times possibly and experiencing the burnout. Like just being burnt out.
2017 to 2026. Sorry, couldn't help myself.
Like that's really what you do fear for them. Because I look at them and
Okay,
I'm
I will say this. I will say it. If they do win, if the 49ers win this game, even if they lose the Super Bowl, Trey Lance got to request a trade.
oh yeah, no, I've said it. I've
I
said it.
think even now he should request that trade for next season.
Yeah, I've said it myself. Like, because win or lose, I said it. Win or lose against Dallas last weekend. Brock Purdy's the quarterback for 2023, and I say the same thing for this weekend. Win or lose, Brock Purdy's your guy next year. So this whole thing about
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Garoppolo's gone. Trey Lance
Here you
probably
go. He
worse.
him and Love. 3 guys this year who should be available are Love from 2020 draft. He should be available unless the Packers keep Rodgers or trade Rodgers to the Jets.
They're probably going to trade him.
I don't know. Last year we heard all this stuff. Rodgers going to go Denver and team up with Hackett. All this nonsense about that last year, right? Didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Green Bay got a first this year. They want to go one last ride with Rodgers. You can go get a wide receiver who's like a elite wide receiver who's going to be on his last year and would want an extension. You go bring him in with your first round pick, like how Philly did with AJ Brown.
Yeah.
That would be guys from the 2020 draft. So, well, it's not going to be Jefferson. We know it's not going to be Jefferson, but Michael Pittman. You got your first. You send that first for Michael Pittman. You give Rodgers, Christian Watson, Michael Pittman, and Romeo Dobbs. You go bring in Darren Waller, hell. Or if Derek Carr is gone, bring back Devontae Adams. You go one last ride with Aaron Rodgers and see what happens.
I don't think
Which
much.
honestly might be Green Bay's best option if they want and move Love because you might get a second you probably will get a third for Love.
Yeah, third.
But New York is talking all this rah-rah stuff about Rodgers. You really think New York's going to give up 2 first-round picks for a 38-year-old quarterback?
They can't afford to mortgage their future. They really
I mean,
can't.
you spent the number 2 pick on Zach Wilson. Most people with the brain said Fields was better than him, but you still took Wilson. Wilson hasn't worked. Mike White didn't work. I know you're desperate for a quarterback, but you could get Derek Carr for half the price. No, not even half the price. You could probably get Derek Carr for about an eighth of the price it would cost Rodgers.
Yeah.
I mean, you would probably have to pay him $40 million if you traded for him, or you could just wait till his contract. The Raiders are forced to release him, which they probably will have to, and then you bring him in. Like I could see that more so than I could see Rodgers, even if they brought in Hackett. Because when the Broncos brought in Hackett, it was like, all right, they're gonna go after Rodgers, blah blah blah, rah stuff that came out of Denver. That never happened. Rodgers said, "Hey, I'm going back to Green Bay." Right after Hackett signed. Then Devontae Adams left.
So now let me ask you this.
Now, Carr's gone. Devontae went to Las Vegas because of Carr.
Who will Josh McDaniels make the call to? Because I don't believe Tom Brady's coming.
You mean for quarterback?
Yeah, I don't believe Tom Brady's going out west.
The Raiders got 7th pick in the draft.
I don't think
he's going to be a quarterback.
He's going to be there.
I don't think Josh McDaniels is the guy to draft Will Levis or Anthony Richardson, both of whom need developing. But then you consider Rama.
First that high of a pick.
Someone's going to take him over there. He's going to go top 20.
I don't think he's that good, man. I just don't.
He's literally Malik Willis, but who played D1.
Well, hold up.
Malik Willis went.
Hold up. Liberty's D1 too now. Hold on.
Well, you know what I mean. Power 5.
Okay, D1. There you go. Yeah, there you go. Okay, I
got it. Sorry. Wrong thing. And he played in the SEC. He had a couple of decent games. Blah, blah, blah. Beat Utah. Made a couple fancy throws. On the winner of the Pac-12. Eventual winner of the Pac-12.
Look, I think, honestly, he's a poor man's Tebow. I really do.
I think he's the Walmart brand of Jaden Daniels, but Jaden Daniels went back to LSU. So
That's gonna be a scary. It's gonna be a scary sight. But yeah, I don't know. And also too, I meant to ask about your boy too.
he's coming out. It's just more of a matter of when than if. I I have a name for him on Twitter, but I can't say it on YouTube because we probably get banned or whatever, suspended. If you just look up one of my tweets yesterday, it's what I have I muted Champagne on there because I'm just tired of all these like conflicting reports saying, okay, he's going Denver. Nope, he delayed the interview. Nope, now he's in the finalist. No, they're gonna go to Miko Ryans. Blah 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 blah. I'm like, you know what? Let me mute it. Taking a day. He's J. It starts with a J, ends with a S, starts with an A, ends with an E, starts with a B, ends with an H. Fill in
Hold
the blanks.
hold up. You got it. You got a lot of letters going right there. I need you to kind of rewind, throw that back in, then throw it back out again. Okay.
All
Now
right, I'll just put it in private chat.
okay.
You can figure. And there you go. That's his nickname. Tired of it for right now. I
Oh,
think it's gonna be probably. He spent the whole day with Arizona, which
he
gives me
did.
some hope. He gives me some hope. And if I'm just saying to you, you're like, all right, you want to go Arizona? That is a perfect place for him, honestly. If you ask me my honest opinion, Arizona is the best place for him because I don't think the Chargers can afford to fire Brandon Staley. It's like
Well,
how Vegas
they
can't
already said.
afford to fire McDaniels. They're keeping Staley for that contract, and they're not giving Champagne the money he wants because the Spanish are broke.
They already said. The Chargers already said too. They said they plan to stick with Brandon Staley for 2023. And then also, I think after the recent success that Dallas had with Mike McCarthy and Dak, Mike McCarthy's not going anywhere. He's coming back for another year. I think
Which
if
is why they say like if he goes back to Fox for the next year and he waits till the next cycle, what's to say what's to say Dallas doesn't win another playoff game and Jerry's like, all right, fine. McCarthy can hold his job and the Chargers another year of improvement. They're actually healthy. They win a playoff game. Can't fire Staley then. You ain't got a job, Sean. And you want to coach. You just are so picky on who you want.
exactly.
And hell, I can be talking about this right now. And 20 seconds later, Ian Rappaport will tweet, Sean Payton has agreed to, and the Cardinals have agreed to become the next head coach. Saints are trading Sean Payton in a 2024 first round pick for the number 3 pick in the draft. I'd be the happiest man in the world. Or it could say Sean Payton's going back to Fox for next year, and the Saints trade for Derek Carr. I'd be the most miserable person in the world.
Honestly, that would be terrible. I'd rather take my chances trading up in the draft.
No, that is what's gonna happen. If Sean goes back to Fox, then it sounds so dumb. I honestly 100% believe he brings in Derek Carr. But if me, I'd pray to God Frank Wright's desperate for a quarterback because we saw what happened when he didn't have a quarterback this year. He got fired. If he
Yep.
goes to Carolina and he needs a quarterback now, do you say, all right, I am going to go take a chance on Derek Carr, or do I mortgage my entire time with the Panthers to go up and go get CJ Stroud?
My thing, see, with that is
Or do you go up to one to take Bryce Young and hope at that point Houston goes and say, all right, you know what, next year we'll just tank and go get Caleb Williams next year.
I
Because
feel
remember, you're going to have Caleb next year, Drake May next year, and Shadur next year.
I feel like Carolina should give Matt Corral a chance this year.
That is what I think. But we saw Reich, he went Ryan and Ellinger. Didn't work. I say give Corral a shot, but
I say you got to give Corral a shot, honestly, because I wanted to see what he could have done up until he got that Liz Frank injury. So,
I just say no one should touch Derek Carr with a 10-foot pole. Man's got 1 year over 4,200 yards in his career.
yeah, no, I agree. I agree, but someone will. Someone might if Tom Brady doesn't come
Derek
back.
Carr is so overhyped.
If Brady doesn't come back to Tampa, I think the Bucks will inquire and talk to him. I don't know if they actually make the deal happen. The other thing too is
Now that you brought that up, would you give Kyle Trask a shot? Because I think there are going to be 3 guys available next year. Or
Honestly,
this offseason. I think Love will be available. I think Lance will be available. And I think Fields is available. Because I think Chicago will take Bryce Young.
I wouldn't
If Bryce Young gets a 210, Chicago will take Bryce Young over Justin Fields.
honestly, and I know Stank might be watching this if he is, because I know he retweeted this.
I wanted the Saints to draft trade for Justin Fields, but that's not going to happen. So
I say this: do I trust Kyle Trask? I don't have the greatest amount of faith in him. I look at it like this: in the grand scheme of things, if he balls and he looks good, you're set for the next decade. And Todd Bowles will still be here, and the Bucks defense will still be pretty good. If he sucks, he's out. He's out, and Bowles is out, and you got to rebuild, and it's going to be a little bit of a process. Now, the other thing too is leading up to the Dallas game, everybody, all this stuff started coming out and stuff as it always does, because we're here towards the end of the season, and it's the last hurrah, and guys are retiring, and guys are believed to be getting fired. Something came out from Rick Stroud, who works at the Tampa Bay Times. Don't count out the relationship that Brady has with the Glazier family. Don't count that out. So that's one element to it. The other element to it is Byron Leftwich got fired because they said that the offense lacked creativity, and Brady was very frustrated with the offense.
I had an issue with Leftwich getting fired, but we'll get into that another week.
Honestly, look, I'm gonna get into it now.
Well, it wasn't an issue of the firing; it's the issue of what the blame was going to.
See, my thing is people wanted to paint it as a black and a white thing.
It's not black and white as much as it's similar to what would happen if the Chiefs had a down year when it was both Andy Reid and Bieniemy.
I think honestly, Bieniemy would still be there. I really do.
I think Bieniemy there are talks of Bieniemy moving to a different organization as the offensive coordinator, so he can go get a head coaching job. Because what happened with Leftwich this year is the reason why Bieniemy didn't even get a head coaching interview this year, and he's going to have the quarterback who's going to be the MVP.
Makes sense, honestly. And I still say this: Jacksonville dodged a huge bullet with Byron Leftwich, because I think Byron Leftwich would have.
Doug Peterson was the right man for that job, because Jacksonville needed a whole culture rebuild too.
They did.
And Peterson took them scraps that was left by what's his name? He went to UCLA now.
Chip Kelly.
It was Nick Foles head coach. Chip Kelly. Yeah, they cleaned up all that mess, and he took them to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And then he got scapegoated when Carson Wentz broke his back, and then they drafted Jalen. Remember, he drafted Jalen with Howie. And then they brought in Sirianni, who's done well. But Doug Peterson had one down here. He gone. He made the playoffs, I think, 4 straight times with Philadelphia.
Yep.
He won a playoff game with Nick Foles as his quarterback. He won the Super Bowl with Nick Foles as his quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
He was the right man for that job. Now, with Leftwich, he didn't have a bad time with Jameis when he was the OC with Jameis. It was more the no risk and no biscuit with Arians and Leftwich combined that got Jameis the 30 total picks. Then Brady comes in, you win the Super Bowl with Leftwich and Arians and Brady. Arians gone, and you saw once Antonio Brown left. Well, not left, but we know what happened with Antonio Brown. Then Godwin got hurt, and then the Bucks offense started to decline.
Yes.
Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if the minute after Godwin tore his ACL and Brown ran off that halftime, the Bucks offense didn't change.
Oh, it changed greatly. Now, I will say this: the year the Bucks did win the Super Bowl, and you saw before they added Antonio Brown, that offense was not what it was supposed to be.
They beat the Saints because of the defense, and they should have lost Taylor Heineke in the wild card though.
Yeah, it was tough.
If Jared Cook didn't hold the football like a lunch kid who got bullied all the time in middle school, the Saints probably would have beat the Bucks, and maybe I would have a different conversation about it. Leftwich.
See,
but
I would have because we look at this through different spectrums. Like honestly, I recall the writing on the wall, the struggles of where it was like we kind of I expected the Bucks to bury teams on offense, and because of the lack of production, the lack of the ability to do that, that's where I was like, yeah, Byron Leftwich. I'm still kind of
But
in
tell me this.
my head.
Tell me this. You saw the playoff game against Dallas. You saw the first meeting between Carolina and Tampa Bay where Tampa lost this year.
Mm-hmm.
You saw also the game against New Orleans a second time. They looked terrible on offense, and it wasn't because of the play calling per se. It was Brady and Evans were not on the same page. Mike Evans was not the same Mike Evans. Mike
They,
Evans got 1,000 yards and the most touchdowns in the NFC South because of that one game where Carolina forgot to cover him in the second half.
they did. Yeah,
Tell me I'm wrong.
it's very true because honestly, it's just part of it is Brady is to blame too. Brady, and that's the thing people always want to say. With me especially, they're like, "Oh, you
I'm
just
not just
don't."
saying Brady. It's like it was a combination of the entire offense because the offensive line was not good in Tampa this year. The
It was
quarterback play wasn't to the standard that we know from Brady. The run game couldn't get going because the play design was not fantastic, but you can also is like remember the conversation we had a couple of months ago about FAMU and we were like, why can't FAMU run the type of offense that like Shanahan runs in San Francisco with the run packages, right? And we
Mhm.
said, well, you can't do like pull plays with that level of talent at the offensive line positions, right?
Yep.
And you look at Tampa, like they weren't on to par of like what you kind of see with San Francisco in terms of build. So that also is attributed to what you're drafting and types of player prototypes that you're drafting on your offensive line. They're not built for the modern age of run game where it's outside zones and different pull packages with the guards. It's more power football running it up the middle.
Yeah.
So you're like, well, how can you design plays for guys who can't run those plays? And then you have a quarterback who sometimes he's looking good, like the old Brady, and then sometimes he's either overthrowing Evans or when he does hit Evans, Evans drops the ball on a wide open touchdown. And then, or you have your left tackle, every time you get a touchdown, he's called back 10 yards for an offensive holding.
Oh, speaking of which, I'm glad you said that.
I have
There,
my whole soliloquy. I talk more about the Bucks City than the Saints. Give me some.
there are 3 offensive linemen that I genuinely believe will return to
I need
Tampa
some
next
water.
year. Ryan Jensen. That's why you always keep it on you. Always keep it right next to you. Ryan Jensen, Kristen Wirfs, and oh my gosh, what's the Shaq Mason? Those are the 3 that are going to return that are guaranteed starters on that line next year, especially if Brady returns. Now, regardless of what happens, Donovan
One
Smith
the
has
new left tackle.
Donovan Smith has to go. What I would do is honestly, I would move Tristan Wirfs to left tackle. You draft the right tackle somewhere. Maybe the kid from he's a good enough 3rd round pick from North Dakota State. He's good enough, but you got to do something. Hold on one second. My thing's about to die. I got to charge it up. Give me 1 sec.
All right. Okay, I guess I'll talk about something else. Yeah, the Bucks offensive line they got some issues. What else was there? Indianapolis. We haven't talked about this. What the hell Jim Irsay is doing? I don't know. But they want to give Jeff Saturday opportunity head coach. He was 1-7 as an intern. Boo the I want to say second largest or largest ever uh lead in NFL history where you blew a 36-0 lead. We won't get into that.
Oh yeah,
So who knows what the hell the Colts are doing?
they're pitiful.
I was just talking about Jim Irsay, being crazy as hell.
They're pitiful. I don't have expectations for them next season or for the foreseeable future. They are so far behind because of how far back Andrew Luck set them. It's not even funny. They're behind. They're about as far behind as Bethune Cookman is right now.
Yeah, I have no idea. Like, what was going on with that whole situation with Indianapolis, but
There's
continue on your soliloquy with the Bucks
wait, what?
on the offensive line with the Bucks.
Oh yeah, no, those three guys are coming back. That's the way I see it. I don't. Donovan Smith, if he comes back, he's a third string. He's a third string guy at best, in my opinion. Because honestly, he doesn't look invested. He doesn't look into the game and stuff. Like Brady's literally on the sideline trying to talk everybody up. He's like nowhere to be found and stuff. He is literally the reason Jameis ended up with a broken thumb broken thumb and
Broken and torn at meniscus.
yeah, he is the reason. He's partially to blame for honestly maybe 15 of those 30 interceptions from 2019.
So
What
I'm
else
so confused.
Now, honestly, with this right here,
But Tua's gonna stay, I think, next year.
yeah, the Dolphins want him back, which honestly I think that takes the Dolphins out of the race.
Tua has to figure out one thing. He needs to figure out how to keep himself healthy. I mean, you can't control concussions, but he needs to he needs to practice how to take a fall. So he doesn't keep whacking his head on the turf. Because you gotta remember, all three of his concussions were when his head hit the turf. It wasn't like another player hit him in the head. It was his head bouncing off the turf.
And this stuff right here, this is why baseball players typically, or quarterbacks that were baseball players, typically end up being the better, quarterbacks. Tua, I'm not sure if he was a baseball player. Kyler Murray was, Tom Brady was, I believe Brett Favre was, even though he's a criminal, he's a crook. Patrick Mahomes was a baseball player. Hell, his dad played in the MLB, so there's that. Who else was there that was a baseball? Russell Wilson, he was a baseball player. All those guys, they know how to protect themselves. They know how to slide if they run. Tua, someone's got to teach him how to protect himself. How do you cover up? How do you slide? There's elements to it, such as that.
Speaking of that, Josh Allen needs to make a phone call himself about that. He won't last taking the hits he does. He
won't. He will burn out if he doesn't learn how to protect himself too. And plus, he plays in a cold element, which means I know he feels it more.
He is a flashy Jameis Winston with legs. Like the throws he makes some boneheaded decisions sometimes, and you're like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Mm-hmm.
And you see, it's like, if he had sometimes a different shade, I don't want to say it's always a race thing, but like sometimes you gotta wonder, like, his narrative would be so much different because if like Lamar makes some of the plays he makes, he gets killed for it. Lamar led the league in passing touchdowns and rushing and everything like that when he won MVP, right? And Lamar still gets those same paradigms and narratives about how he can't throw, blah, 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 blah. And how he takes one knee injury, he's out for half to whatever. And he's like, oh, he's injury prone, blah, 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 blah. Josh Allen has not gotten those same conversations yet. Josh Allen is very close to those same conversations.
I agree.
Who knows? All right. Enough of the NFL.
So, point blank, we talking about college football for the first time since basically a Florida Classic weekend. I'm just going to come straight out with it. Georgia beat the hell out of TCU. Kind of figured this was going to happen.
Oh, we didn't do that. I forgot. We didn't come back for the college football playoffs.
I'm just going to be honest with you.
Who's Georgia's quarterback next year?
Oh my gosh, what's that kid's name? I know Stetson Bennett is supposed to be moving on. But
Stetson Bennett is older than Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is about to go into he's a finalist for MVP and he's been in the league 3 years.
Carson Beck.
Jalen Hurts is 24. Stetson Bennett is 25.
Carson Beck's Georgia's quarterback for next year at the moment.
I got no idea who that is. I got to go watch some tape on him.
He's 6'4", 216 pounds. He came in at the end. He was a 4-star quarterback coming out of high school. He is from Florida. He's from Jacksonville. Went to Mandarin High School.
I'm surprised Kirby Smart can't pull a 5-star.
He doesn't need one, really. He won a national title with with a walk on, basically.
So actually, speaking of this is kind of college football, but also NFL. What do you think about the Todd Monken rumors?
He was a good
He
offensive
ran
coordinator.
a efficient offense in Georgia. Who should have
He
lost to
did,
Ryan Day? But Ryan Day is still a terrible head coach and not a winning head coach, in my opinion. But we won't get into that.
dude. My look, I get into it because we don't college football, but Todd Monken, honestly, and his brother Jeff Monken, who's the coach at Army, by the way, in case you didn't know,
Didn't know
he
that.
he's a good football mind, dude. Like he really is. Like look at his
He was
work with the
Dirk
Bucks
Cutter's OC.
when he and see there's the thing about that. When he took over the play calling for the Bucks offense was good. He incorporated those play action plays that allowed Jameis to be successful. If Stank's watching, he could probably attest to it. But yes, now when Dirk Cutter took the play calling back from Todd Monken, things got worse, and it showed. And now you're seeing it because now that Todd Monken's got the experience and the NFL knowledge to where his mind for the game is so far advanced over other coordinators that he goes against on Saturdays. Georgia's having success. They can have success throwing the ball as well as running the ball, and they have the speed at wide receiver to back up for it, especially going into next year. Now, if he leaves, I think Georgia's going to have to learn to adapt and take what he left and apply it. But I think if he comes back to Tampa, it'll be better than what Leftwich had the last year. Um, but yeah, I think he's an excellent mind. Honestly, I think he's a really good mind. Now,
I wonder
Ohio
who
State,
Georgia gets to be O's. Like, who calls plays for Georgia if and when Monken goes to the NFL back?
they probably promote somebody within. Honestly, I think
At
that's
this point, being so late in the game, I'd expect that. So I'm
yeah,
not too worried.
that's what I expected.
But the question on if Georgia three beats, like, I don't know what Alabama has in Jalen Milrow yet. So you can't really say Bama. I ain't trust ain't nobody from the ACC beating them. Ain't nobody from the Big Ten beating them. Ain't nobody from the Big 12 beating them. And
The
ain't
thing,
definitely no. Well, I can't say ain't definitely nobody from beating them in the Pac-12 yet because Colorado's Pac-12, right? I
yes,
think they are.
they are.
Can't say that yet because I have not seen that team play yet, so I can't make anything. Because if Shadur is him, I would give. It depends on what Dion does on the trenches, though. All
Hey,
depends on how Dion builds the trenches.
I'll say this: Colorado's first game is Arizona State, and then after that they travel to Fort Worth to play TCU. TCU will not be the same team because they're losing Max Duggan. They're
Max Dugan
losing
went to transfer, right? Dugan went to the
Max
transfer
Duggan's
portal.
going to the NFL.
Dugan went to the NFL. I swore he went to the transfer portal.
He's going to the NFL. He was a senior, and their star wide
Are you
receiver
sure?
Johnston is going to the NFL too. Yes, yes.
Oh yeah, he declared for the NFL draft. Well, I'm stupid as hell. I would have swore I saw transfer when I read his whole thing. Just to show you, I skim read that. I didn't actually read it. My bad. That's on me.
That was the worst national championship.
The worst national championship game. I'm gonna be honest with you, Ashton. I didn't watch it. I knew who was gonna win. I was like, you know what? Like, I know I've been picking Georgia all year. Like, let me just get cute with it and just pick TCU for the hell of it because I really don't expect them to win. But like,
My thing was I knew who was going to win it. For me it was a matter of by how much. Because I saw it and the writing was on the wall, honestly. Like TCU had
I
that three
expected
front.
TCU to cover. I didn't expect it to be a blowout.
I
I thought they
did.
would at least covered.
TCU kept presenting with a 3-man front the whole time. And then it was like, okay, what's this 3-man front going to do up against Georgia's massive offensive line? And they held for maybe the first series, and then Georgia started beating them up at the point of attack. And then once Georgia really got comfortable, you ever seen a bear just play with its prey before it just mauls it? That's what Georgia was doing. Georgia was just playing with them at first, and then just started to maul the daylights out of them. That was it was pitiful. And then Kirby walked off the field saying, "You know what? We might three-peat this thing," and they just might. Because who in the SEC is going to challenge them? Florida ain't going to come out of the East challenging them. Shane Beamer better hope that Spencer Rattler comes back if he hasn't already. Kentucky, I don't see out of the East. LSU may have a little something, although I still think Florida State's going to beat them week one. Alabama, we'll see. Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin's still there. They're going to have a few tricks up their sleeve. By the way, Georgia does play Ole Miss.
We need to talk about Ole Miss. We got to talk about Ole Miss, though, bro.
Hold on.
What the hell are they doing? 3 quarterbacks in the transfer portal.
Because they got the kid that transferred from Oklahoma State, though.
They got Spencer Sanders. They got Walker Howard, who literally transferred from LSU because Jaden Daniels came back.
Makes sense.
And you got there was another guy who transferred in. I'm forgetting his name. I gotta look it up.
It's an exciting transfer. But yeah, no, honestly, I don't see who in this conference, who in the SEC is going to challenge Georgia.
Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart, Spencer Sanders, and Walker Howard. Yeah, that's going to be an interesting team. One Kiffin. I don't know if he's throwing out 3 different quarterbacks to keep defenses guessing. Like, maybe that works. I don't know.
It makes sense.
Just don't have a zero rhythm offense.
Yeah, I mean, and then you got the Big Ten. They threw their mightiest effort at the SEC and still didn't prevail. They got 2 teams in the play. See, now that's the difference between the SEC and the Big Ten. If the SEC gets 2 teams in the playoff, you know who's playing for the championship.
I will say this though. I will say this: if Marvin Harrison didn't get hurt, Ohio State should have won that game.
That's true, honestly.
But that's the same thing as saying if Mechie and Jameson didn't blow their knees. Alabama,
yeah, exactly. It's one of those things where it's
do it. You shouldn't do it, but like you kind of had to just mention it.
You do. Oh, we got it. We all think Jaden Rashad. Is that the kid that said the N-word from Florida that ended up with the Albany State offer? Is that who that is?
No.
Who is that?
Oh wait, that is for the former Florida guy. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
no.
Wait. No, it's not. Pittsburgh quarterback.
It's for the former Florida signee. He was gonna go there and then he.
Oh yeah.
Because the whole NIL stuff.
Yeah, Florida quarterback. But that whole thing was just drama filled, man. My gosh. What was it, like millions of dollars in NIL money that was promised to him? Now he's just like, dude. I mean, that's to me, it's
this
just
NIL stuff.
To me, it's like, I understand you want to get paid, but it's like at some point, like, dude, they're giving you the chance of a lifetime. And right now, I don't know who Florida really can rely on to start at quarterback, but best believe he had a golden ticket to just run right in there and get the starting spot. Like at some point, it's like, what do you love more? Are you just here to get money for NIL, or do you actually love playing football? I understand
different people. That's kind of like how Brady won those rings. Quarterbacks who get over 20% of the cap don't win Super Bowls.
It was $13 million by an organization that wasn't affiliated with Florida, called Gators Collective.
Yeah, I heard about this thing, but I'm saying the guys who chase money, they don't really win. They got to put the team, and they want to win, and they actually have to like the game.
Facts, because that's like I said, man. What do you love more, the money, or do you want to? Are you playing because you really want to be that guy and be great? Because if you just want to get money, like hell, the hell are you wasting our time for? You can just go to school here, and if you have the grades for to get your education, go to grad school and make more money over the course of time versus doing this. Because you can go to school and be a doctor and make a shit ton of money if that's really what you want to do. Because you're not at this point right here. You're just now getting to college. You're not unlocked to be in the NFL. So what do you want more? Do you want the money, or do you really love football? That's my thing. That's crazy though. I
Hell,
saw that.
even
Man.
Malik Davis, most injured running back in probably college football history, ended up on the in the NFL and played playoff snaps.
It happens. To me, these NIL deals gonna make things complicated in these sports. They are because now you question. It's like
It's gonna get
why
ugly soon.
it is because it's like what are you doing this for? Are you doing this because you like the game, or are you doing this just because this is a good paycheck? Because honestly, like what's gonna happen is guys are gonna start, like, and this is something Dion even said too. When guys get drafted, they don't even really cry like they used to. They don't go up and hug their moms like they used to and stuff because they're so satisfied with the fact that they've already gotten paid.
There was a
College,
thing.
go ahead,
Me and
Ace.
the dude we're talking about on Twitter. It's if CJ Stroud, remember he didn't declare until the very last moment, right? Him, Quentin Johnson, and Jordan Addison all declared the last day. We were talking like if CJ Stroud had stayed for the NIL instead of going to the NFL, that would have changed college football forever. Thank God he said, "Nah, I'm going to the NFL." I honestly believe somebody was going to offer him more money in an NIL than he probably would make on a rookie contract.
Probably, but
And he probably said, "You know what? Let me go to the NFL. I'm gonna ball out, and I'll get even more money through endorsements and sponsors and all that crap."
it's like they say these players should be getting paid, but now, since that's the case, the NCAA doesn't know how to master it. Yeah, they don't. They really don't. They don't. And it's a lot of moving pieces going on right now in front of the NCAA's face. You're facing a massive college football power shift with the way the conference alignment's going. You have this transfer thing is transfer portals like out of hand because kids are running from competition. You got kids that want money and stuff to go along with this because kids are trying to find the quick way out of the struggle, which rightfully so, because nobody wants to have to struggle in college and stuff. No one wants to. You want to be able to have everything you need. But yeah, it is getting out of hand. It really is. Um, what else was there?
We're gonna go over to hot topics.
Yeah, so let's run through hot topics so we can get through this and
The
stuff.
NBA All-Star starters came out.
Did they?
Mm-hmm.
Did
Giannis and
Shannon,
LeBron are both the captains again.
who gonna take Shannon Sharp?
Shockingly, no Grizzlies made the starting lineup. Steph Curry got in over Ja for some inexplicable reason. But
Did you see him get ejected last night for throwing his mouthpiece?
I don't think someone said, I was like, I even said myself, I'm like, I don't think I've ever seen somebody get ejected, throw a mouthpiece and get ejected because somebody
He's
else's
done it
shot
3
selection.
times. That was the 3rd time that's happened. All 3 times that he's chucked his mouthpiece, he's gotten ejected.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's an ejectable offense. I have no issue with the ejection. I'm like, Steph, I know Poole took a bad shot, but bro, like, you can't be doing that in that moment.
Now, see, the other thing too
Poole might have
is
got himself traded if he didn't hit the game winner in that game. Steph might have been like, hey, he might have pulled up Brady like, hey, get your ass on my team.
the other thing is with that is like with the All-Star game, we need like a boxing match between John Morant and his dad, like a handicap match
We
John
need to have like a
against Shannon.
whole fight night kind of thing. We need Pat Bev and Damian Lillard as the headline match, and T Moran versus Shannon Sharp as the undercard.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the pay-per-view is gonna be Dame versus Pat Bev, right? And the undercard is gonna be T Morant versus Shannon Sharp. Everybody would want to see those fights.
I would welcome it.
And you can also throw in LeVar Ball and Michael Jordan also. But also LeVar has his son playing for Michael, so I don't know. LeVar's actually been behaving himself since Lamelo's been hurt, Lonzo's been hurt, Leandro's not even in the league.
And then wouldn't you know who number 2 is in basketball, in college basketball?
Who?
Alabama.
Alabama's got some issues though.
Number 1 is Purdue.
Yeah, but you saw that thing that happened with Alabama with the players and the
What happened?
capital murder and all that. Like one of the players gave a gun to another guy who shot this woman for some. I don't know the exact details of it. It's kind of all like fuzzy and everything coming in. And he gave the gun to the guy. Guy shot the girl. Both of them got arrested for capital murder.
Mm.
And this was like a big guy. Well, not like a big time guy, but he's one of the guys on Alabama. And since then, Alabama's just been rolling.
We got one right here. Thoughts on Cormac McClain going to Colorado? I like it, honestly. You kind of felt like it would happen. Like, because for one, nobody wants to go to Miami. Cristobal.
Miami's a dump right now.
It is. I don't think Cristobal is going to probably. He's going to probably make a bowl game next year, but I don't see Cristobal really making that much noise next year. Honestly,
Cristobal is going to be gone by the end of 24.
Dang. Oh man. But yeah, like it. I like it though. Here's the thing.
25. I give him 25.
If Deion had stayed at Jackson State, Deion probably would have gotten a lot of those Texas A&M transfers to follow him to Jackson, on top of a kid like Cormani McClain, because they were going to be better than they were the first 2 years if Deion had stayed. But Jackson State's going to take a.
Now everybody's going to Colorado.
Yeah, now everybody's going to Colorado. So yeah, Jackson. I still think Jackson State's they're going to be good, but they're going to take a step back a little bit as far as the consistency of play, because the type of player has changed that is going to go there, and they're all going to Colorado. But it makes sense for Cormani McClain to go to Colorado. You want to be coached. You're a DB that wants to be coached by probably one of the best DBs in the game. So like it makes a ton of sense. I don't blame him. I would do the same thing if I was in his position. It's just like Nadarius told us on their Christmas special. How can you say no to a guy like Deion? If he comes to your house or if he comes to your school, how do you say no? So yeah, that's my take for that. And then the other thing too is the Sacramento Kings. They are good finally for the first time since Jason Williams and company. I think Ace.
Yeah. The DeMontis Sabonis, Tyrese Halliburton trades are one of the few and very rare win-win NBA trades. The Donovan Mitchell one is also another win-win trade. So I guess they're not very rare if two of them happen in the same year. But you don't see many of them.
Third in the West at 27-20, behind Denver, who's 34-15, and Memphis, who's 31-17. They're actually sitting more pretty right now than Golden State and Phoenix and Dallas.
Yeah, the Kings are just like a juggernaut right now. They're just shooting. Like, they have so many shooters on that court. Like, De'Aaron Fox just went off this season. Sabonis been going crazy. Kenneth Murray's actually been shooting really well. Harrison Barnes is Harrison Barnes. He's just consistent as always. But, I mean,
I like it.
I don't know. Kings making the playoffs first time in 16 years. That's going to be a rarity.
Dude, it's about time, man. It's about time. I'm glad they finally came back to life. Maybe that little rivalry that they had with the Lakers will mean something. Although, hell, where are the Lakers at in all this? Where are the Lakers at? Oh, geez, wait.
Lakers are 13th in the West, last I checked.
They are 23-26. Okay, so the Kings actually do have the Lakers number this year. Okay, never mind. Well,
yeah, the Kings just been cooking. That beam, since they started this beam thing, like light the beam, they just been winning. Well, I can't say that. They lost to the Raptors last night.
It's okay. They'll bounce back. They'll bounce back.
Yeah. Let's see. from January 9th, they won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the last 9. And for the 2023 year, they've won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. They won 8 games to 4 losses. Or 5 losses. They're 8-5 in 2023. And they are, what is the record? Oh, God, I just had it. 27-20. So they're 4 games back of the 2 seed and 7 games back from the 1. So they're closer. Well, to say this though, let me say this: they are closer to being out of the playoffs than they are from being second in the West. That is how tight the West is. Because the Oklahoma City Thunder, well, they're the same distance between the 2 seed and out of the playoffs, but they're closer to the out of the playoffs than the 1 seed. I should say that. Because the Thunder are 23-25. They're the 11th seed right now. So they would be out of the play-in. The Kings are 27-20. So that's only 4 games ahead of them. And they're 4 games behind the Nuggets. Well, 6 games back behind the Nuggets because the Nuggets beat them twice.
Yeah, no, I got faith in them this year. I got faith in them. I'm rooting for them, honestly.
They just got to keep it up. If somebody hits a losing streak in the West, they're pretty much out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Unless you're a top 4 teams. I guess the Nuggets, the Kings can survive it. Like the Pelicans are 1 seed earlier this year in the West, but then they hit a losing streak when Zion and BI got hurt. They're like on a 6-game losing streak right now, right? They're still 4th in the West. Now, if they start losing again, like if they lose 3 more games, they're out of the playoffs. They're out of the playoffs.
Well, folks, this has been a good one. This was awesome. This is how we're kicking it off. We're going to try to get more guests on here and stuff to talk to and everything like that. We hope you've enjoyed this as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And also to be sure to leave a comment in our videos. So yes. So, we'll be here. So keep it locked and everything like that. Come February, we're going to
something.
What?
When I went to the laptop, I didn't lose connection once.
Of course not, because it's a laptop, man.
I gotta go get a new Wi-Fi antenna for the
home
desktop.
The thing is, again, home computers, they require much more, so they struggle a little bit more, which is why I'm not a fan of them anymore.
No, we switched the Wi-Fi to Wi-Fi 6, 5 gigahertz. So it should have been faster, but the range isn't as good as the old ones were. So I wonder if this antenna is not built for that. So I gotta probably get a new one to put onto that computer. I don't know.
Well, folks, we hope you've enjoyed. As always, we're still here. We just had to worry about some.
We're still alive, still kicking around. Penalty Talk is not dead. We're just rebranding a little bit for the other podcast. We don't know when that one's coming back either, because it's gonna have a new day and everything. Because Flash got commitments or whatever on Tuesday nights now. So,
wow, that's a word you don't.
Who knows? Maybe just be me rolling the show. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Name that too often. Flash and commitment. Uh-oh. We have to do a might be a love at first sight type thing.
Flash for commitment. We might have to have a whole special episode for that when that happens. With the real commitment.
Wow.
We might have to go. We'll have to go live for that episode too when it happens, like Destination, how we did Cancun. Who knows? We might have some guests. I'm going to focus more on trying to get some basketball guests on for this season, for season 5. We don't have any basketball guests on for seasons. And we've already been, I've been on this show 4 seasons now. I feel like an old man.
What do you think I feel?
Well, you've only been doing it 5 seasons. I'm only 1 behind.
Well, not 5 seasons. I've been doing it before that too. But yeah. Good night, folks. Y'all take care. Stay blessed.